Hi, everyone. It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. Emil Amok to you. Well, welcome to my Takeout, my Emil Amok's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. Now, usually when I do a show on Thursday, that means Friday I'm taking off. I had something else to do, but I said I had some time. I'm going to do something for my peeps who may need still more information about the show I'm doing tomorrow in Fresno. So that's why I'm back. Dan's not going to be around, but he said some interesting things yesterday on yesterday's show, including the story of a 170-year-old Lola and how she was harassed. And you ought to go back and check yesterday's show because it shows the insensitivity and the lack of humanity of the Department of Homeland Security under Kristi Noem. And she's the woman who shot her dog for misbehaving, and shot her goat for not acting like a goat. And yesterday, when she was fired, there were all the memes saying, "Oh, the dogs are cheering." Well, the goats are cheering too. And it was just, when Dan was telling that story about a friend, it was just, a little heartbreaking that this is what's happening in America. When did we get so mean? When did we get unkind? When we suddenly started scapegoating and saying it's not just immigrants or illegal immigrants, the undocumented immigrants, it's all immigrants. That's because mistakes are made all the time, and it's allowable when there's no leadership. Kristi Noem's gone. Markwayne Mullin will be in. Senator plumbing magnate. No, not plumbing. He owns a plumbing outfit in his home state, which I know. I'm looking forward to see how he rocks the fake eyelashes and the Botox lips, but I don't think he's going to be an improvement. Well, I hope he is, but I don't think he is going to be. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. I'll tell you about what I did with American Community Media earlier today. I don't know if they put it out for people to watch, but I want to talk about my experience because the question was, we're in war, what do we do? Laugh? I mean, I think the White House wants to play games and not take it serious. I think when we laugh, we're taking it seriously because laughter is our weapon. It's what we can do. More about that after I first talk about my show. Emil Amok, 69 Emil Amok, that's the name of the show. A real journalist stands up. I'm at the Fresno Arts Center, or Fresno Arts Annex. The Annex, 814 East Olive Street there in the Tower District. It's really the coolest district in Fresno. Really, March 7th, 12:30, the lunch hour. Have a meal with Emil. Well, eat before or eat after, but come see the show during the 12:30 noon hour. Fresno Arts Annex. Get your tickets at FresnoRogueFestival.org. Inexpensive. I think they're like $10 or so. Scan the code there and get the tickets. It's called 69 Emil Amok for obvious reasons. Sex is kind of sexy, and it's a taboo. 69 is a taboo. So 69 Emil Amok, a real journalist stands up, really? Well, yeah, kind of. I got a good review in Kings River Life magazine. I would read it to you, but I think, that might be too much. Mallory Moed did the review, and it's one of the few, well, no, I've gotten good reviews. But every time you get a review done by someone who gets it, you thank the Lord, right? Here's an audience member, a reviewer who gets it. She writes about it. So go to Kings River Life. She talks about the storytelling, how it's funny, how, I don't want to paraphrase it. It's her expression, but the point about critics is, like I was telling Martin Dockery this week, if a critic gets your show, oh my God, thank goodness, right? Because critics are and I've been one too, so I kind of understand. The critics aren't showing off, but they're taking art and processing the ideas and spitting them out in public. It's not just giving 4 stars or 5 stars or thumbs up or thumbs down. they're understanding the work of art and conveying the art to the audience so they will want to see experience it for themselves. I was reading a poem by Louise Gluck, a Nobel poet laureate or prize winner for literature. She passed away a couple of years ago. Also, American Book Award winner. And she describes the scene. She's talking to a writer, and the writer says, "Hey, look, it's the critics that have the ideas. We artists are just playing with our games, playing with our toys." And it struck me because some people like to put down critics, but they do have the ideas about the art. The art is evoked in them. They write it. They help people understand. So I'm all for critics. I just want critics to be helpful and constructive and not destructive. And Kings River Life, good review. I really appreciate it. Check it out, Kings River Life magazine, and you'll see the review for 69 Emil Amok. Last show tomorrow, March 7th at 12:30 p.m. It's at the Fresno Arts Annex, and you can see the place to get your tickets right there on the screen if you're watching me. And also you got the QR code. So you got multiple ways to get information on how to see tomorrow's show, March 7th at 12:30 p.m. Now, crawling, what's the crawl on the screen? Well, the next show I'm doing is called Emil Amok because it's part of my Emil Amok monologues, right? It's called Emil Amok 69, right? It's called Emil Amok Anchorman. Yeah, Anchorman, Emil. That's a little highfalutin, right, for what you did, right? Well, no. I was an anchor in Washington, D.C., both local TV as well as national, and I talk about the news. This is part of the Playground SF.org comedy festival, and Playground is a theater group organization out of San Francisco. They do plays, one-man shows, help actors, and they have a great space, Potrero Stage. I'm going to be there on the 14th, 15th, 16th, and the 19th. Check the dates. Go on, follow the crawl, and go to playground-sf.org and look for Emil Amok Anchorman. It's another in my series of Amok monologues, and it's what I do. I mean, I'm a journalist, but I'm also this comic stage monologist. And it's a way to make my columns come alive. That's what I think. Sometimes it does, it happens that way. But that's on later on in the March. But tomorrow on Saturday, March 7th at 12:30 p.m., go see me in Fresno if you're close. If you're not, I'll do that show another time somewhere. But I'm doing Emil Amok Anchorman March 14th, 15th, 16th, and 19th. Oh, man. Yeah, in San Francisco. And you can see it scrolling down there at the bottom. All right, so those are my shows. And I say it because, a comedian, which I loosely call myself, comic monologist, it is a comedy, but it's also storytelling with humor. We need audiences, right? We need people to confirm laughter has happened. Laughter has occurred. And that was what I was talking about today. And one of the reasons why I thought maybe I couldn't make it back in time here. I was on American Community Media's, they had a little panel discussion for ethnic or community media journalists, ethnic publications around the nation. And the topic was, do we need laughter now more than ever, right? Is now the time for laughter now that the war is happened, we're in this situation. How does laughter help? And the big overview, of course, is, laughter helps. We have this situation where life is tense. And there's a lot of unknowns. And usually when things are unknown and tense, ripe for comedy, right? Someone tell a joke because If it hits, the explosion happens. So we talked about the use of humor now. And I said right off top, and I was joined by Herbert, don't have his last name with me, Herbert with the Culture Clash, uh, Samson, the Desi comedian who founded the Desi Comedy Festival. And it was a great honor to be with him to talk about this because this is, I think, what you got to talk about now. When times are so bad, how does humor help us? Or is humor a way to help us? I think definitely, it helps, but it's more complicated because, and I pointed this out, humor is subjective. So what do you know? Humor is subjective. You tell a joke, and sometimes people don't laugh, and then what do, right? Let me get my panelists. It was Herbert Seguenza, who's artist in resident, SDSU Arts Alive, and founding member of Culture Clash. I saw him in Berkeley a couple of years ago. Actually, it was more than that. He said it was during COVID, and they had to do a video. Great group. So Herbert was there, and then also Samson Collectar, who Desi Comedy Fest founder and founder of Comedy Oakland. He does shows. And ironically, or not ironically, coincidentally, I happened to be on a comedy show on Wednesday night with Simon. And this is what happens when you're you do comedy as well as the news and you're a columnist. You tell a joke. Does it hit? Sometimes. I told a joke about Trump. It didn't hit with everyone, but it did hit. It was just kind of a low, smoldering kind of thing. Like, oh my God, he is talking about the bombing. He is talking about Donald Trump. And I think because it was on Wednesday, which was just 4 days, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, no, about 5 days since the war started. I don't think it's really hit people that were in war. It was like, oh, can we talk about, there was a kind of a reluctance, almost like people have been beaten down, um, you know, in submission to, the authoritarian rule. That's also called fascism, right? But I was wondering, why aren't they laughing harder? There was like 40 people there in the room. Wasn't bad. But it just seemed eerie because I've done that joke or variations of that joke that usually just, they, when a joke, because you repeat and you do in other settings and it hits. But I was wondering, maybe they weren't laughing because I was talking about the bombing and it's too soon. Maybe it's also because the news that has come out is not that great. 6 dead, just on the American side. We don't really know where this is going. We don't have a plan. Maybe there's a sense of being lost. But I think, maybe it hasn't sunk in, but it will sink in ultimately because gas prices are up 30 cents already. You're going to see all sorts of things happening, and people are going to say, oh, wow, that's the impact of the war. The impact of war on top of tariffs, on top of our life is, this is why we need humor. And when I got a laugh on a joke like on that Trump joke I said, I don't think it's because everyone's heard Trump jokes, because it was like 4 days after the war. Or after the war began. I think it was more the fact that people weren't ready to hear, or they were surprised that a comedian would make fun of it. But why not? We need to make fun of it. The day Venezuela happened, I was making fun of Venezuela. But maybe it's also the fact that people are being tamed into submission and not speaking out. I wondered about that, a kind of self-censorship. And most comics will not talk politics because they don't want to divide the crowd. People like Jay Leno, infamous, are saying, we're not going to divide the crowd. I'm an equal opportunity offender. I offend everyone. They want the biggest and most audience, in the club so they can make more money. It's a kind of corporate comedy. But if you're approaching it like I am, money is a nice objective, but it's not the reason why I do this comedy or why I've gone from news to comedy. Someone asked, "Oh, Emil, aren't you worried that your news judgment is compromised?" Well, yes and no. When I report, and it's news. But when I do cross whatever line a journalist is allowed to cross, and there are some lines you're allowed to cross, you just say, "This is opinion. This is my opinion." And then you go op-ed, right? I mean, that's how it works. You're still a journalist. And someone said, "Well, aren't you concerned about your lack of credibility if you make fun or definitely you have a bias? Or in a joke you have a bias, but if you make fun of everyone, then you can be equal opportunity offender." I think why you do it, why you turn to humor, is because humor provides insight. And Samson Collector brought up the point that the way jokes are structured, the way jokes are written, it's like strips away all the unnecessary parts and you get the punchline. And it's true. And by simplifying in a way to see the humor, my point is you help people understand and you help people see. You also help people recalibrate, because a joke is a recalibration of, your situation. You're fearful, you're angry, you're in a dark place, there's war. How are you going to afford rent? Are there jobs? Can you pay for gas? Can you pay for anything? Is anything affordable in America? So you're in this dark place. What humor does is give perspective. And it allows you to get clarification. And the clarification allows you, as I said, to recalibrate, go forward. And by going forward, you move toward hope and optimism. That's kind of the big picture of why humor is necessary. But of course, it can be that simple, but it's not, because people say, well, what if we don't find it funny? And that's exactly why I said humor is subjective. If it's not funny, what do you got? You got an argument? Not an argument, but you have a discussion. If it's civil, some people say, "Oh, I don't like you're making fun of trans. Oh, I don't like you're making fun of women. I don't like you're making fun of black, brown, whatever. You're making fun of MAGA folks." They deserve it. But the point is, humor is, if it's told by a comedian, is supposed to stop you and get that involuntary laugh. That involuntary laugh, that suddenly you gotta laugh. It's funny. And it's like spit take time, right? And it gets you maybe to go from this dark, concerned, worried place into a lighter place. It releases the tension and then helps you to see the world in a new light, or at least in a better light going forward, so you can address all the things and concerns you have that are bothering you. I mean, that's the point of humor, I think. It's not permanent. I mean, it's temporary. If I make a joke about race, culture, society, but it's to just get you tweaked in a little bit so that you think of the situation in a new way that may help you toward understanding, and certainly may help you toward getting along with the comedian who told you the joke, or others, who you may not have agreed with, but you laughed. And so that shows agreement. That shows we can move and find some common ground. And common ground is really one of the goals, where we're laughing together and are joyous together and celebrating life together. That's why in these dark times, humor has to be the answer, right? It's got to be part of the answer. Because if you're not relying on humor, what are you relying on? Propaganda? I hear something that came out this morning. The White House put out videos of Hollywood stars being used as propaganda to push the war. Real footage of war cut with movie clips and clips from video games like Call of Duty, like Grand Theft Auto. Really? I mean, what's that about? That's the use of copyrighted material by the White House to push a war that is unpopular by at least 60% of the people. According to polls I've seen, maybe they have numbers to suggest that people really like the war. I doubt it. Not with 6 service members dead, dozens of Iranian school children, reports by CNN. I mean, the cavalier attitude that the White House has is, there will be deaths. That was what Donald Trump said. People will die. We're ready for that. But that's the kind of BS cavalier attitude that shows he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. 6 people dead, you'd think he'd do something more about addressing that. But I think he's preparing us to be totally inured and totally just insensitive to all that. Because he wants us to be him, right? He wants us to be Donald. You're looking for a plan? I got no plan. You're looking for a reason why we're in war? Why are we in this war? Israel? No, we forced Israel. Although Marco Rubio said the other day, no, we went in first because if Israel's going to go in first and we were going to get attacked because Israel, we're going to attack first. Oh, no. He was contradicted. There are so many different answers here. They're all lies because they have no plan. That's another reason for laughter. Because if you don't laugh, then you just accept the fact that we're screwed. I mean, that's kind of the situation. And so it doesn't surprise me that when I told that a Trump joke about bombing at Last Unlimited the other night in Sacramento, there were, some people were into it, but most people were like, we're too busy with our lives. We haven't noticed anything about the war. I mean, the war is over there, right? And it's not here. But wait till they look at the price of gas up 30 cents. Wait till they see all the prices rise, and they'll say, oh, man, why? What's going on? Is this the war? Yeah, it's the war. And then, this is the danger for Trump. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Any number of things can happen. And none of them good for America. Meantime, America is less safe now than it was. And that's a bad thing. I heard a congressman on the cable channel say, well, it's going to go bad for Trump. And at some point, he's just going to want to pull out and say, forget it. He's already talking about Trump, already talking about Cuba next. As if, Venezuela is all settled. No. And he's now in Iran. Oh, we know why he's in Iran. It's because of the Epstein files, because Hillary and Bill Clinton were testifying, and they were saying, Donald Trump is next, should be next. They knew Epstein. If you're going to get the Clintons, you might as well get Trump and Melania. Oh, no, 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 no. Here, think about this war for a second. I mean, that's where we're at. But Epstein files aren't going to go away because in the Epstein files, people see exactly how the world works. Ultra rich, you can call them the elite up here, everyone else down here, and everything is done for the ultra rich, the elite. I didn't necessarily think that until, I mean, you sort of hope it's not true. You say you believe in a middle class, you believe in people just doing the right thing and living their life. And you just hope that, oh, no, no. Life is fair. No. Not anymore. And this is why, well, a lot of people see in Donald Trump the ideal, unethical, immoral way. And they say, well, me too. Let's do it. Let's do it that way, right? He's the leader, right? Well, he's got, what, 2 more years? I don't know. This is why humor is necessary. You use humor to get through. When I saw the thing about the video games and the propaganda put out, I mean, that is a light touch that's inappropriate. That's a light touch that needs to be addressed head on, the war. And to use the video games to sell it as propaganda, frivolous. What I do is I just point out the ridiculousness, the silliness, the ironies, the hypocrisies. And I know some people like hypocrisy. Some people say, well, wait a minute, Emil. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, just follow Mike Johnson. I know war. Are we at war? I mean, that's Mike Johnson. This isn't a war. And so they didn't pass the War Powers Act. But we're in a war. We're six Americans dead. This isn't just an emergency thing. But as I said, I was surprised when one congressman said, well, you know, Trump is poised to get out and declare victory and leave. I mean, no one in his administration will stand up and debate him on that. Maybe some loyal Democrat, or not loyal, but some patriotic American Democrat would stand up and say, what is going on here, Mr. Trump? But I don't know. You would hope that the war would help people grow a spine. And so far, that hasn't exactly happened. Congress feels helpless. The Republicans are doing all they can to block any kind of war powers thing. Although it's questionable if war powers would help. So this is where we are a week after. And why, as I said in that American community media thing, we need humor now more than ever. Told a few jokes. If you weren't there, I think it's on YouTube, but you can go to ACOM, American Community Media, and see my conversation with Herbert, Samson, myself. And then I end, of course, with a little laughter yoga, because I am a certified laughter yogi. Emil Amok 69. That's the show I do. Yeah. I wrote it 60. Why is it 69? Did you know you cannot wear, it's verboten to wear 69 in the NBA? Can't do it. Can't do it. Traipse around in your underwear with any other name, but not 69. Too suggestive, a taboo. That's a taboo. So I talk about 69, and of course there's a twist. A real journalist stands up. I talk about my Trump derangement syndrome. Check it out, March 7th, 12:30 p.m. Saturday at the Fresno Arts Annex, 814 East Olive Avenue. Get your tickets at FresnoRogueFestival.org, and there you have a QR code if you're into QR codes. For me, after March 7th today or tomorrow, March 14th, 15th, 16th, and 19th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, it's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 14th, 15th, 16th. And then I come back on the 19th, which is, I believe, Thursday. All different times, like 7 o'clock. Most of them, the Saturday shows like at 5. But go to the other playground.sf.org/box office and find out that's the San Francisco show as opposed to the Rogue show. And then next week, I'll talk about a show I'm doing in Sunnyvale. Just a 5-minute, but still fun. And I hope you check that out. Yeah. So I just thought I'd just jump on, talk more about humor, the need for humor. And I really do believe that humor in times like this do recalibrate your sensibilities, and they help you go on, and you get loaded up with the dopamine and serotonin and all the happy chemicals, and you live your life stress free for a period of time. All you need is 15 seconds of laughter. And if you want to take my laughter yoga classes, you can do that. I do that. Do it online. But it's really great because it does get by that problem of, what if someone says a joke and it's not funny? I'll show you how to do that. Just leave a message on the box, and we'll start our classes. All right, talked about the Rogue. The Rogue is going on. I go on tomorrow, Saturday at 12:30 at the Arts Annex, but other shows go on tonight, Friday, Saturday. Saturday is the last day. Go to Fresno Rogue Festival.org. Get your tickets. Check out a show if you're close. I mean, if you're in Fireball, definitely check it out. If you're in, near all the Sunmade stuff, check it out. If you're not, check me out in San Francisco. And if that's too far, say, hey, why don't you come to Madeira, Emil? Or why don't you come to UC Merced? I'd love to go to UC Merced. Last night, I was in my tiny little San Joaquin County town, and I saw the New Christie Minstrels. It reminded me of folk music and protest songs and a kind of Americana that we don't have anymore. I mean, who's singing folk songs anymore? I mean, that was 60s, 70s. New Christie Minstrels. Green is green, they say, on the far side of the hill. Green is going away till the grass is greener still. I mean, it's before the Beatles, you realize. All we had was the New Christie Minstrels. Before the Beatles. I mean, we had the Beatles, great, but the New Christie Minstrels, that was music. They were revolutionizing Perry Como and Bing Crosby. Say, hey, Bing Crosby, Perry Como, take off the tie, put on a leather vest or a non-leather vest, take out the guitar and let's sing these songs. Folk music, American folk music. It's great. It was a great time. Green is green, they say, on the far side of the hill. Everyone wants to go to where the grass is greener still, right? That was great. Great seeing them. And they're still around. All right, we're going to end this. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow. If you're near Fresno, 12:30, Saturday at the Arts Annex. If not, I hope to see you sometime in March in San Francisco, the 14th, 15th, 16th, or the 19th on Potrero Hill at the Potrero Stage. We got this war. Hey, take my advice. Laugh. Laughter is good. And sometimes all you need is the voluntary laugh. It works. It does. And so, back to more traditional meditation technique. I am certified in laughter yoga, by the way, but in this regular technique as well. Sharon Salzberg, the loving kindness guru, this is her meditation. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Till next time, huh?